Alright guys, I'm back with my review of this week's WWE Monday Night Raw for July 1st, 2013. And before I get into Raw, I wanted to mention the Celebrity Wife Swap episode with Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. I put a link up on the Facebook page for anybody who wants to watch it or may have missed the show. You can find the Facebook page in the description. But as far as Raw goes, this show was just really bland. Hard for me to care about any of this stuff. Fandango versus Sheamus really couldn't have a finish. And then you have Ryback versus Miz. And that was just terrible booking of Ryback, just absolute shit. So very hard for me to care about any of this stuff. But the show starts off with Vicky Guerrero saying it will be champion versus champion. Del Rio versus Cena tonight. Daniel Bryan comes out. He's got a new t-shirt. It looks like ZZ Top on the front. And he says he wants to be WWE champion like Bruno, Hogan, who I think got booed here, Austin, The Rock. Says he's going to become the new champion, and Sheamus comes out. He brings up beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds, and Daniel Bryan says, "Is there any way I can call 1-800-FELLA and have you bro kick yourself in the face?" So I thought that was a great line. Then Randy Orton comes out and says he needs the WWE title and won't hesitate to cash it in. First chance he gets. Daniel Bryan brings up making him tap out last week. Kane comes out and he says that he has no problem committing unspeakable acts against his opponents. He starts saying that I'm going to be WWE champion. Daniel Bryan says, no, I'm going to be WWE champion. They go back and forth. Christian comes out and says, I'm not the biggest, the strongest, or the hairiest, but I'm the best. Punk comes out and says he's won Money in the Bank twice. He's going to win again. He starts talking about all of them. And Daniel Bryan gets pissed off and says that he will make Punk tap out quicker than Orton did. So Orton gets in Daniel Bryan's face. Kane gets between Orton and Daniel Bryan, and Orton RKO's Kane. So everybody else just kind of backs off. And that was the way the show started, so I actually didn't mind this. I thought this was okay. Throughout the show, they show clips of past WWE and world champions, which I thought was pretty cool. They actually included Sting in this. A Bray Wyatt family video. I actually thought Bray Wyatt family would debut at Money in the Bank, but apparently they're going to be on Raw next week. The Shield versus Christian and the Usos. Ambrose mocks Christian's hand clap thing, which I always thought was really cheesy anyways. So that was funny. But Rollins pulls Christian's neck across the rope and Ambrose rolls him up for the win. It was a good match. It wasn't great or anything, but it was fine. Kane tells Daniel Bryan to stay out of his business, and Bryan says he talked to Vicky and got Kane a rematch against Orton, and he's going to be the special ref. Dolph Ziggler versus Jinder Mahal. Remember what I said about not caring about any of this crap. And Ziggler actually does a lot of selling here. But he hits the zigzag for the win. McIntyre and Slater go after him. He escapes, hits the zigzag on McIntyre on the floor. Then he climbs on the announce table and starts acting like a crazy person. Triple H tells Vicky that she's doing a great job and to listen to what the McMahons say but don't actually do any of it and just listen to him. Show a video hyping up Mark Henry as the world's strongest man, going through his career and stuff. I thought it was pretty good. Orton versus Kane with Bryan as the special ref. Orton starts punching Kane in the corner and Daniel Bryan pulls him off. Orton gets in his face, so Bryan disqualifies him. And then Kane's like, what are you doing? Restart the match. So they restart the match and Kane goes off the top and gets drop kicked in the stomach. And this actually looked like it took a lot out of Kane because he was moving slow after this. I mean, slower than usual. But Orton goes into his whole Viper mode and Daniel Bryan gets in his way and messes up Orton's momentum, so Kane hits Orton with a big boot and Daniel Bryan does a fast count. So Kane gets the win, but he knows it was a fast count. So he's in Daniel Bryan's face. He's like, what were you doing? And Bryan says, the only reason you won is because of me. So Kane gets pissed off and the fans start chanting chokeslam. So if they want to keep Daniel Bryan a babyface, they are going about this in the absolute worst way fucking possible. People are turning on Daniel Bryan now. And Kane goes for the choke slam, and the fans cheer, and then he just backs off and leaves the ring. Daniel Bryan turns around and gets hit with an RKO. And then Orton makes this lame-ass snake face pose thing. This snake shit is so played out. He can't possibly think this is cool. This is the lamest shit I've ever seen. I mean, not the lamest ever, because we are talking about WWE here, but it's pretty damn bad every time he does these like snake movements. So fucking stupid. Backstage, Punk tells Heyman that he trusts him, but he doesn't trust Curtis Axel, and Heyman says, just trust my judgment. Fandango versus Sheamus. Fandango's tights were amazing here. Sheamus does the Fandango dance to mock him, which was also awesome. But Sheamus clubs Fandango and he walks out. That was it. And I was actually thinking when Fandango walked out, it would be really cool if WWE did turn Orton heel, and throughout this show he just ran out from the crowd and hit the RKO on Sheamus, and just hit the RKO on every single person who's in the Money in the Bank match. Kind of like what Steve Austin used to do. I think that would be really awesome, but they're not going to do it. Ryback versus Miz with Chris Jericho on commentary. Miz goes after Ryback's injured leg, which was injured by Justin Gabriel of all people. And Ryback tells the referee to stop the match because he's injured. So Miz wins, Jericho gets in the ring and hits the code breaker on Ryback. This is terrible shit right here. This is going to kill Ryback. Mark Henry comes out, says he's the strongest man in the world and he didn't get that title from a Cracker Jack box. And after all the years in WWE, he deserves to be champion, and he's going to beat Cena's ass. Backstage, Vince tells Vicky that she's wasting money by not doing Del Rio versus Cena on pay-per-view. Curtis Axel and CM Punk versus the Primetime Players. Punk hits the GTS on Darren Young. Axel tags himself in, steals the pin. That was pretty much it. Another bland match. Alicia Fox versus Caitlyn. Caitlyn hits the spear for the win. AJ comes out and shows a picture of a fat woman with Caitlyn's face on it. Stephanie tells Vicky that she has no control over her own show, and Vicky starts freaking out. Stephanie tells her that next week they will have a job evaluation, and this lasted way too long. And what was up with Stephanie's hair? She looked like the Cowardly Lion. It's terrible. Cody and Sandow come out and they say they will still be best friends, even though they're both in the Money in the Bank match. Cesaro and Zeb Coulter come out, and Zeb brings back Jack Swagger. So it's Cesaro versus Cody. There's a We the People chant. And Cesaro hits the neutralizer on Cody for the win. The Bellas are backstage, and they get in a fight with some of the other girls in the reality show. I didn't care for this. It also lasted too long, but Eva Marie is one attractive woman. I have to say that. Del Rio versus Cena. Cena goes for the AA. Del Rio counters with the armbreaker. Cena counters with the STF. And Mark Henry comes out and distracts Cena. Del Rio tries to roll him up, but Cena kicks out. Then Dolph Ziggler runs out, climbs up the turnbuckle. The referee doesn't say shit to him about this. Distracts Del Rio. Cena hits the AA for the win. Afterwards, Mark Henry grabs the WWE title, gets in the ring, throws it at Cena, and just leaves. So that was Raw this week. Like I said, an absolute bland, average show. Nothing special. Matches weren't even that great. Cena Del Rio had its moments, but it still wasn't anything great. It was okay. But that's how this entire show was. It was just all okay. Friday night, for SmackDown, they said CM Punk's going to be there. Probably going to do some more Punk versus Curtis Axel stuff. But next week, I believe next week is the go-home show for the pay-per-view, so I'm hoping it's a better show next week. The Bray Wyatt family is going to debut, so it has to be better than this. But anyways, that's my review of this week's episode. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's show in the comments, and thanks for watching.